this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're doing data analysis and we're looking at frequency tables and graphs. So the best way to do this is just jump into a question here. So here's my first example. 30 students were given a quiz with 10 questions, and this is the results here of how many questions they got right. So this person got 4 questions right, 6 questions right, and there should be 30 students' results in there. So it says, use the data to complete this frequency distribution table. Now, a frequency distribution table must have at least 3 columns: the score, the tally, and the frequency. This extra column here, the FX column, we use this column specifically when we need to find the mean. So sometimes you might find you have a table that doesn't have this one, but often it will. So there are extra columns that we will be adding. So first of all, let's fill in our score column. So we need to look through our data and find our lowest score. Okay, is there anything lower than 4? Yes, there's a 3. Anything lower than 3? Okay, so 3 is my lowest score. And my highest score is 9. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We list all our numbers down from our lowest score through to our highest score. Next is our tally. We're going to put tally lines in here for every score. So 4, we put a line next to the 4. So I can do 6 goes here, 8, 7, 4, 8, 9, 5, 7, 6, 8, 3, 6, 5, 7, 4, 7, 6, 6. And when you get to your 5th one, remember to cross it over. 9, 8, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 4, 7, 6, and last 8. Okay, so that's our tally complete. The frequency is just how much we have in our tally. So we have one line for the first one here. So 1. 4 in there, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, and 5 here. And for 9, we have 2 people that got 9 right. Okay, so let's just keep going with our FX column over here. F is for frequency and X is for the score. So FX means frequency times by the score. So I need to times these numbers together. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 8 is 48. 7 times 7 is 49. 8 times 5 is 40. And 9 times 2 is 18. So what this FX column is going to be doing for us, instead of having to type in out when we're doing the mean, instead of having to type in for 6, for example, we have to do that 8 times. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, 8 times. We can just say, well, we have 8 of those. If I do 6 times 8, I have 48 is my total of all my 6s. So this is totaling up my scores for how many of each of them I have. So then when I do the totals, see this totals down here, I want to do the total frequency and the total FX. When I total this one up, that is actually finding the sum of all of my scores here. It'd be me sitting here, me going 4 plus 6 plus adding all these together one at a time, or just adding that column up will do it for me. So on my calculator over here, let's add them up. 3 plus 16 plus 15 plus 48 plus 49 plus 40 plus 18. Okay. We also want to add this one together, so let's do that. 1 plus 4 plus 3 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5 plus 2 is 30, and that's good because we were hoping for 30 because we knew we had 30 students. So this is our total number of people here, isn't it? 'Cause these are my frequencies, this is my students here, and there should be 30 in total. Okay, so my table is complete. So let's have a look at B. Now I've started drawing the graph over here. We want to construct a frequency histogram. So a histogram, we need to draw one of these L-shaped graphs here. The score is always going to be on the horizontal axis, the bottom axis down here, and the frequency is your vertical axis. So my scores for this question start at 3, and off they go. So let's go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you should always do a spare one. Okay, and the frequency, my highest frequency is 8, so I need to at least go up to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and looks like I have an extra one for that as well. Okay, so now we have to construct a frequency histogram. So you'll need a ruler. A frequency histogram is like a column graph. So what we want to do is we want to draw a column from 3. 3 has a frequency of 1. So this has to come up to 1. I need my column to be halfway below this line and halfway to the next one as well. So it has to start here and go to there and then flat across the top at the number 1. Okay, that's my first little column. Oh, not quite in the center there. Hopefully yours will be better than mine. So let's do it again for 4. 4 has a frequency of 4. So for this one, I have to go up to 4. So mine are all measured in centimeters. So I can actually use my 4 centimeters here, like that. And then I can go halfway to my next one. Okay, and flat across the top. Okay, 5 has a frequency of 3. 6 has a frequency of 8. So it's going to be a tall one. 7 goes up to 7. 8 goes to 5. And 9 goes to 2. There we go, and that's what we call a frequency histogram. Part C says, show the frequency polygon on the graph in 1B. So on top of this graph that we already have here, we want to draw what's called a frequency polygon. And that is a line graph going over the top of our column graph here. So what we do is we draw little crosses in the top center of each of the columns. Okay, and this is why we need an extra one, because our line graph has to come back down to the bottom. So we need that extra space for that to come back down. And at the beginning, it will have to come down to our starting point there. So then we get our ruler again and we join. It's like a dot to dot between all the crosses. Okay, and there you have it. That is our frequency polygon. So remember that this one here, these big columns, is called a frequency histogram, and the line graph is called a frequency polygon. Okay, so we've done that one. Now in D, we want to calculate the mean. Now remember, that's what this column here was all about. So when you have a table with an FX column, to calculate the mean, all you have to do is take the total of that column, which is 189, and divide it by the total number of scores, which is the total of this column, which is 30. So 189 divided by 30 is 6.3 is our mean. Find the mode. Remember that mode is most occurring. So the most occurring score, or the highest column here, or the highest frequency, is a score of 6. Okay, so our mean and our mode are pretty close together. All right, and here we now want to find our median. Now before, in the last lesson that we did, to find the median, we would have all of our scores like this, but we'd have them all in order and we'd cross off in the beginning and end. Now that's something that you don't want to do once you start getting lots and lots of scores. It can take a lot of time to put them in order and it can take a lot of time to cross them all off. So there is another strategy that you can use to find the median. This table has already put everything in order for us. So we have got 30 scores in this table. So you need to find the middle of 30 scores. Now a lot of people will just go, oh, that's 15. But that's actually not quite true. If we said 15, it means I would have 15 scores here. And I have another 15 scores over here. That makes my 30. But the 15th number is actually the last one here. It's not actually what is in the middle. So what we need to do as a little rule that you can use, whatever your total number of scores is, add 1 to that number. Okay, so my number is 30. If I add 1 to that, I get 31. If you halve that number, half of 31 is 15.5. Okay, so that tells me if it's 0.5, if you get a 0.5, that means it's between the 15th and the 16th number. So you need to find both of those numbers. If you get a whole number, so say your answer was just 14, for example, it would just be exactly what the 14th number is. Okay, we're going to be practicing this, so hopefully it's not too confusing. You will be seeing me do this a few times. Okay, so for this question, we know we want the 15th and the 16th number. So I'm going to count down through my frequency to 15 and 16. So there's 1. Then I have 2, 3, 4, and 5 are in here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 are the 7th and 8th number in here. So luckily for us, in this particular question, all my numbers were in here. So my median is just that number there, which is 6 again. So but we have to be careful because sometimes we might have one number in here and one number in there. And if that happens, if I had the 15th number here, 16th number there, I would need to average these two numbers to get a 6.5 for my median. Okay, but as I said, we'll be practicing this, so don't worry about it too much just yet. So the median is 6. Okay, so that is that question done. We found our mean, mode, and median, and we've drawn our frequency, histogram, and polygon. So I just want you to practice that now. Okay, so here is some questions for you to practice. Pause the video. It's just one question, sorry, just repeating exactly what we've just done. So pause the video, try to fill in your table, and draw your graph, and do the few calculations that are here. Okay, so let's do this now. Question 1. The goals scored in a soccer match for a particular team over the last 20 games are recorded below. Complete the frequency distribution table. So my smallest number is a 0, and the highest number I can see is a 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's go and do our tally. 3, 1, 0, 3, 3, 2, 7, 4, 2, 3, 1, 3, 0, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3. Okay. Filling in the frequency, we have 2, 3, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 0, 0, 1. Frequency, remember, is frequency times score. So 0 times 2 is 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 9 is 27. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 0 is 0. 6 times 0 is 0. 7 times 1 is 7. Then we'll do our totals. Let's do our frequency total first. 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 9 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1. is 20, which is good because we knew we had 20 games. Okay, our FX column, 3 plus 6 plus 27 plus 8 plus 0 and 0 and 7 is 51. Okay, so the first thing we need to do from that is to calculate the mean. The mean is equal to the sum of our FX column divided by the sum of our frequency column. So 51 divided by 20 is 2.55. Okay, now in C, we want to construct a frequency histogram and polygon. So it's just both of them in the same question here. So let's first of all put our numbers on. Our scores are from 0 up to 7. So we need 0 to be here. Don't put it on here or we can't get a full width column. So it needs to have its own line over here. And don't forget your spare. And our highest frequency was 9. All right, and now we go into our columns. So 0 had a frequency of 2. Okay, just to be quick here, I'm just going to do that a little bit there by hand. 1 had a frequency of 3. 2 had a frequency of 3. 3 had a frequency of 9. 4 had a frequency of 2. Then we had 0 for 5, 0 for 6, and 7 had a frequency of 1. Okay. Then for the polygon, we have a cross at the start, and then crosses in all the centers of all the columns. Now, for these ones that have none, we still need the crosses in the center at the bottom there. And that's why we have our extra space, that extra cross at the end. Using different colors on your graphs can help make them look even nicer. So it comes across the bottom here. And that's the polygon. Now this is a new question that we haven't talked about yet. So I've just squeezed this one in here. Is there an outlier? Now an outlier is a score that's out on its own away from the rest of the group of scores that you have. So in this question we have this one here, this 7. So we had nothing and nothing, and then we just had this one random score down here at 7. So yes, at 7. So we have an outlier at 7. Okay, and now we want to find the median. So remember we said we were going to practice this some more. So the median, we have 20 scores. So using this new technique, we want to add 1 to 20, so that's 21. And half of 21, you can use your calculator if you need to. So you go 21, and you can halve it, divide it by 2, is 10.5. So we need to find the 10th and the 11th number in our table here. So let's count through the frequency. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's lots of numbers all in here. So 10 and 11 are all in here, which has a score of 3. So our median is 3, which is pretty likely as there is just so many scores that were there for 3. All right, that's the end of our lesson on frequency tables and graphs. Join me again next time and we'll be looking at dot plots. Keep practicing and I'll see you next time.